And we've got spectacular CMEs, some new sunspots, cosmic ray report, and lots more coming at you today at the Smash News Network. Least busted name in news is Daily Space Weather. There's a couple of coronagraphs and the SDO 304 angstroms wavelength. Here's the house favorite, 171 angstroms wavelength. Flaring has been kind of low. And you can see this new sunspot forming right up here. North of center, north of the equator there. Just recently moving past the center longitude. There's the SDO intensity gram. And here is the colorized magnetogram. You see those fields forming up there. Otherwise, sunspots have been rather stable here over the past 24 hours. Let's take a look at volcanoes, which look like they've actually calmed down a little bit here. Ejection is still erupting, though. And that is a flight level 070 from Ejection, 7,000-foot volcanic ash plume. Nevado del Ruiz, 21,000-foot ash plume. Sangay, 23,000-foot ash plume. Revenador exploding as well, 15,000-foot ash plume, flight level 150. And unable to detect Sabancaya, don't assume it's not erupting, and decide to pole vault the caldera. Seismicity also pretty calm here over the past 24 hours. No major quakes. We'll just scroll up the list and let us know if we missed anything. It looks like only about a 5.0 is the largest quake. One of them near Mauritius, near the Isle of Réunion. A 5.0 also at Vanuatu, South Sandwich Islands. Pretty calm here seismically over the past 24 hours. And let's get back to space. Here's some composite imagery from SDO, featuring 193 angstroms plus 335. We'll tell you about the trajectory of those most recent coronal mass ejections here later in the video. 10.7 centimeter radial flux, now at 147 solar flux units. There's the 1-year graph of that to put it in context. It's the black line. The red line below it is the sunspot number. And Space Weather Enthusiast dashboard not forecasting any geomagnetic storms or geomagnetic unrest. Things looking pretty calm here in the 3-day forecast from NOAA. Here's the last 4 hours of Earth's magnetic moment from space. And we see the pressure equalizing here. Most of the pressure here on the non-sun facing side of the planet. As the plasma in Earth's magnetosphere attempts to reach static equilibrium. So a bit of a dud as far as the latest coronal hole high-speed stream. Must have mostly missed the Earth, because it was pretty weak. Here's Earth's magnetic moment from the ground. Also the last 4 hours. It's our geospace ground magnetic perturbations map. Units here are nanotesla, magnetic flux density. And we did indeed see some great aurora despite the lack of major high-speed or high-density portions of the coronal hole high-speed stream. Follow us on Twitter at SmashOmash for all kinds of aurora shares. It only seems appropriate since we are the most comprehensive daily space weather video in the world. Also the most detailed imagery you'll find of the closest star. KP index, a measurement of global geomagnetism here on Earth, has been at 2 for the last 9 hours. KP2, geomagnetic calm conditions, and we've got a low-density solar wind here, low enough to be suspect for an error. See that yellow bar down there at the bottom? That is an error suspect. And it looks like right now the Discover out at Lagrange point 1 is making the measurements. Solar wind speed only 365 kilometers per second. Solar wind density less than 3 protons per cubic centimeter, so pretty diffuse and pretty slow is the solar wind. There are the GOES magnetometers there, just in a sort of an operating range. Not so exciting. Let's take a look at the heliospheric current sheet. There is a North Pole current sheet making its way here. It should be here by tomorrow, it looks like. Having just reached stereo A, which is this little plus sign here. Also, I would note the migration of the north solar polar field there. You can see that sort of slowly making its way away from the North Polar region. So we've got some major coronal holes rotating into face Earth. We're going to show you 11 years ago. First, the line of sight field plot. Solar B field shown here in blue, south solar polar field in red, north solar polar field in green. And let's take a look at what was going on 11 years ago. You may know solar sunspot cycles are about 11 years in length. So this is our line of sight coronal hole plot from 11 years ago. You can see much of the south solar polar field there hanging out at the north polar region. North solar polar field there largely at the south polar region. And here's where things are now. Keep in mind it does show time and date stamps down there. We've got a long way to go through this solar cycle. We've got some pretty well-defined coronal holes rotating in here in the east. So looking at your plot here, you can see these are South Pole coronal holes in the south. These are still North Pole coronal holes in the north. They've got a long way to migrate here. So lots of solar cycle 25 to come. Let's take a look at sunspots. We've got one new sunspot group that'll be named up here. It should be named at least. At the moment, it's certainly a beta gamma class sunspot group. 3111 should be the name of that group right there. And this is the last 24 hours SDO continuum, and you should see that forming. So lots of sunspots here at the moment. And there's certainly plenty on the other side of the sun too. And let's talk about flares and protons. Proton flux here just remaining at baseline levels. No recent spikes. Flaring has been pretty calm. No major flares there, only C-class intensifications. And actually a general downtick in the X-ray background. As you can see from that imagery there, that's the 3-day GOES 16 and GOES 17. We must use spacecraft to measure X-rays because they are filtered out of the atmosphere by the time they reach the stratosphere. So only the mesosphere and higher can the X-rays be detected in. So here is the 131 angstroms. Again, pretty calm as far as flaring over the past 24 hours. We'll also show 94 angstroms. It looks like the most active region is that region in the south. Also, this one here pretty active, so those are the portions of the closest star to keep an eye on. And when I say eye on, well, pardon the pun. Those ions are iron ions, 94 angstroms. A specific species of iron. And the cosmic ray report is coming. First, a star chart. If you're up before dawn, you might see Venus rising ahead of the sun. Barely ahead of the sun. Mars up there near the apex of the ecliptic. Also Jupiter. Or is that the moon? Could be the moon. Let's see. That is indeed Venus. So we hope all you reverse werewolves are enjoying new moon. Here's your 1-week solar system forecast. There's where things will be in a week. Keep in mind that diagram is not to scale. And let's take a look at cosmic rays. So we're going very far south here to DOMB Antarctica. There's the cosmic ray profile at DOMB Antarctica, and it is flat over the past 30 days. DOMC Antarctica, a small uptick there at DOMC Antarctica. Let's go way up north to Oulu, Finland. And Oulu seeing a flat 30 days also. So flat in cosmic ray output there. That's the Oulu neutron monitor. Let's go way down south to the land of Mexico. Also showing almost completely flat over the past 30 days there for the Cosmic Ray Observatory at Mexico City. Let's go a little farther north to Athens, Greece. Athens, Greece there, quite flat over the past 30 days, almost completely flat. And we'll go back north to Apatity and Barentsburg. So let's see. Apatity showing a minor uptick in cosmic ray flux. And Barentsburg, also a minor uptick there at Barentsburg. So mostly flat to a small uptick across the world. That's the Cosmic Ray Report. If you'd like to support the channel, consider becoming a member of the Smash Team at smashobash.com/Smash Team. If you're not seeing our latest videos showing up in your feed, click on Posts. You'll see the videos posted there. Join at the gold or silver level if you'd like some additional content and to support the channel. Thanks to all of those who have over the years. Links below the video and on our homepage at smashomash.com. Thanks for increasing the probability these videos will continue to exist and remain publicly visible and free for all to view. And welcome to the Neo Renaissance. There's the homepage, smashomash.com. Again, you can find links there at the top of the page, as well as that graphical link there to the Smash Team. We're all over social media. We're still on Patreon. There's even a Facebook group and a Facebook page. Believe it or not, despite the pathetic censorship on Facebook, it's barely a usable, functional platform these days. Also on the homepage, you'll find a link to ShoreMed. You'll also find the link below the video. If you'd like all kinds of discounts, join the American Better Health Organization. A nonprofit organization. It's not insurance. It is a nonprofit organization with the mission of improving your health. So with your base membership, you get doctors by phone, counselors by phone, even virtual veterinarians, because your pets are crucial for your health as well. Discounts on pharmacy items, vitamins, labs, and more. Also access to certain types of insurance coverage. So visit the links if you'd like to enhance your health and your coverage with all kinds of discounts at our ShoreMed page. Make sure you follow us on Twitter if you're anywhere on social media. Being on Twitter is the place to be. I understand that there is pathetic censorship on the platform. Hold Twitter accountable by citing facts and refusing to back down. If you don't have a Twitter account, create one. And make sure you follow us over there. Always some interesting conversations happening over at Twitter. Today's featured product, and by the way, if you click the link below the video or on our homepage, you'll find our products in order of best selling. And our bestseller there in the upper left contains words that shall not be mentioned in a YouTube video because of pathetic censorship on this platform. Today's featured product is Mensa, which stands for Make Earth Not Suck Again. There you go. I'm wearing the hat. Very high-res graphics. And thanks to all of you viewers who've left comments and so on and done your part to make Earth not suck again. By the way, it's up to you. Not giant heaving bureaucracies that can't get out of their own way or make intelligent decisions. A lot of YouTube channels have been out there making Earth suck. And part of the reason why we make the content is because we noticed that there's a huge hole in the realm of space weather. So we decided to fill that hole with facts, since there is so much fraud, nonsense, propaganda, misrepresentation. And remember, folks, the line between misrepresentation and fraud is simply intent. Misrepresentation is misstating material facts. Fraud is intentionally misrepresenting material facts. So make Earth not suck again. Accountability always comes. Our finest days lie ahead. And we intend to do our part to make Earth not suck again. Press like and subscribe if you enjoy the content on YouTube. And thanks to everybody over on YouTube for tolerating the pathetic censorship on the YouTube platform. We are free speech purists, and we think you should be able to say whatever you want to, wherever you want to. Visit our playlists for additional content like cosmology segments, smashomash.org presents the sun, terms defined, music videos, and more. And let's get back to the space weather. So here are the coronagraphs from yesterday, and quite a few spectacular coronal mass ejections going on. Here's today, and starting out the day with a coronal mass ejection. Are they earthly directed? Well, let's take a look at some additional coronagraphs to find out. We'll look at the coronagraph here at stereo A, as well as the Soho-Lasco C3 by itself at Lagrange 1. Also Venus appearing there on the stereo A coronagraph. And there are a couple of CMEs that look like they might be earthly directed, but they aren't. This one here is off to the west. This one here also off to the west. That one there well to the south. And those other more recent ones are on the opposite side of the sun. So no earthly directed CMEs at the moment. Expecting everything to be pretty calm here. Let's take a look at those CMEs from the past 24 hours here. Some more coronagraph imagery composites. So here's the last 24 from Soho-Lasco C3 and C2. Venus coming into view there on the right. And here's a little zoom in. Basically just a light show, nothing expected to be striking Earth. Moving on to our hydrogen alpha imagery here. This is the ground-based solar observatory at Lermonth, Australia. Lots of filaments around the North Polar region here. You can see a lot of dark absorption features. Those are filaments. We could find those ejecting sometime soon. Let's keep an eye on those. And here's this far side CME that happened last night. That prominence now gone. Heading out into the greater solar system. Somewhere out on the opposite side of the sun is the direction that one appeared to have gone. So here's the last about 2.5 hours from the GO 16 SUVI. You can see some new activity up here in the northeast. Some prominence is happening up there. And we do regularly stream that on the Twitch channel. So check us out over there. Thanks to our new followers over on Twitch. And let's show some composite imagery here from SDO. That's yesterday plus today in 3 wavelengths. 211 and 171 are ionized iron. 304 angstroms is ionized helium. And here come the bonus features. So satellite charging hazards are pretty calm here. Some surface charging hazards there over Mexico and the Eastern Pacific. Electron flux in a normal operating range. And here's the electron flux forecast. NOAA agreed with me, but we had a little higher electron flux because that coronal hole high-speed stream was a complete dud. Here's the 1-year graph of the relativistic electrons. Again, just in a moderate range here, nothing too exciting going on there. Let's take a look at the F layer of the ionosphere, one slice of the atmosphere, the portion at about 300 kilometers of altitude. Here is the vibrational frequency as reported by Australian Government Bureau Meteorology. It stopped playing because reasons. We'll also show the anomalogram. We are seeing some rapid swings from high to low frequency anomaly. Keep in mind that's the anomaly in megahertz from the 30-day median. So a greater mix here of high and low frequency anomalies. We were seeing almost entirely high frequency anomalies there for quite a while. And let's bring up the latest image. As it's almost time for our meteorology segment, there's the latest image, 10:15 Universal Time. We'll also show the total electron content, at least the portion that is available. The total electron content shows the electrons in between your GPS satellite and your handset. This area right here can cause huge refraction, depending on your number of free electrons between your GPS satellite and your handset. Those satellites located at about 12,500 miles of altitude. Here's the total electron content forecast over North America. Here's the standard deviation. And here's the anomaly. We'll also show the full globe view. However, there are some missing data sets there. It's not showing the full picture. At least it's showing part of it. And let's move on. Here's your latest intensity gram. And again, we do have a new sunspot region up here in the north. It is a beta gamma class sunspot. It's kind of small. Wouldn't be surprised to see that get a name today. Otherwise, things have been rather stable there. And here's the last 24 and 304 angstroms. Ionized helium, and it's about time to move to the realm of meteorology. We'll be talking about a very interesting polar low. The heck? That is looking like an old video there for some reason. There you go. That's the last 24 hours. And now it's time to chew bubblegum and do meteorology. And we're all out of bubble gum. So let's take a look at pressure here from the nullschool.net. Fantastic piece of software here. Nullschool.net, the Earth wind maps. And of course, everybody's talking about this low here in the southern Caribbean, south of Cuba, and so on. The pressure's still about 1,000 hectopascals down there. I wanted to briefly take a look at this polar low. Check out this polar low. Northeast of Iceland, 964 hectopascals. And look at the size of that low. That is a giant low up there. Anyway, that's your pressure map. I just wanted to show that because that is quite a low. And of course, some strong lows down here around Antarctica as well. 954 hectopascals. Yowzers. All right. So here are the surface winds of the eastern world. Philippines getting a strong system there showing up. Here are the jet streams of the east. Some backward jet streams there over portions of Oceania. Here are the jet streams of the western world, the Americas. Some cold air there being driven down into the Great Lakes states. Here are the surface winds. And you can start to see a strong clockwise rotation happening there. Here are the surface winds of the central world. And check out that polar low up there. That thing is serious. And here are the jet streams of Europe, Africa, and the Middle East. Here's your weather.gov map. If your county's lit, click your county. We've got all kinds of gale warnings along the east coast of the U.S. Again, weather.gov. If your county is lit, click your county. We've got some tropical storm warnings there in the southeastern Gulf. So let's take a look at some forecasts for that. Here's your 72-hour GFS wind and pressure forecast for the lower 48. And it's looking increasingly likely that Florida's going to get excessive amounts of rain. In fact, look at the pressure, 947 millibars there. So that's looking very hurricane-like. Let's take a look at a closer-up view of that for the same period. That is looking pretty serious. Central Florida, the possibility of a major hurricane strike there. One last thing, let's take a look at the total accumulated, let's use this view. We're going to look at the total accumulated precipitation forecast to see how much rain that's going to be bringing as it approaches. We're only going to show a 3-day forecast because we like our forecasts to be accurate. There you can see quite a bit of rain there already before the main low even shows up. Southern portion of Florida, they're expecting some places up to maybe 3 inches of rain, something like that. Those are all GFS forecasts. And let's move on. Here is the satellite imagery from windy.com. There's a great mobile app if you'd like to download that. Check it out at windy.com. See some of that counterclockwise rotation happening there as that low intensifies. And how hot is the water, you ask? Well, I wonder also, so let's take a look at that. So those regular viewers of the channel may be aware that sea surface temperature has a lot to do with the strengthening of these systems, and look at all that hot water there around Cuba. It's only slightly anomalously hot, but it's warm water regardless. So there's a lot of capacity for convection there. And next, looking at lightning. Some fast-moving systems there moving across Tennessee. Let's see if we have any terrestrial strikes. Mississippi, seeing some lightning there in the northwestern portion of the state. Places like Clarksdale. And that system looks like it is rapidly moving there to the east-southeast. Next, US Doppler Radar. As we close this video out, here's a lower 48. Here's a shortwave radiation map showing clouds and fog. And there is the water vapor, I think. Let's pause for station identification while I bring up the water vapor map. This is the Smash News Network. Least busted name in news. You can see that cold Canadian air pushing some dry, massive air there into places like Illinois and Indiana. Clear skies under this high pressure zone. Right there, that's a high pressure zone. Are you under pressure to not watch nonsense on YouTube? I know, there's so much crap. Oh, so much crap. Why is so much crap promoted on YouTube? Let us know in the comments. Recap. US Doppler Radar. Shortwave radiation showing clouds and fog. It's 3.9 nanometer infrared radiation from the NASA GOES. Oh, NOS, it's the NASA GOES interactive weather satellite. And there is the water vapor map. It shows all the water vapor, not just that which is condensed onto clouds. You can see some activity happening there in Louisiana. Some huge pressure gradients forming there as some cold air pushed its way down to the south. And that is where we must end today's video. Thanks for tuning in. Congratulations on realizing that the channel exists. And may that solar wind be at your back.